Welcome to another Detroit News High School Football Preview. I'm Rod Beard, and I'm joined by Markowski. We're down to the semifinal round, the final four in each of the respective 8 divisions, and some really excellent matchups that we have coming in this final couple of weeks that we have. Starting out in Division 1, where Rockford is playing Detroit Catholic Central. Rockford at 10-2, CC at 8-4. Should we be surprised that they're here after they snuck in at 5-4?
Well, they're programs, and you just never know how they go through the playoffs. And granted, CC had 4 losses during the regular season. Speaking with Aaron Babbitts, the AD, I don't think that matters too much at this time. It doesn't to the kids. But it's a rematch of last year's semifinal that CC won, and I expect CC to come through again. They're really playing at a high level right now. I thought that was a surprise last week when Rockford took care of Clarkston, but they jumped out to a big lead and made it difficult for Clarkston to come back. Just never know. These are rugged programs. You have to remember when Rockford won 2 of their state titles, they had 2 losses during the regular season, which is the same scenario now. So you just never know with Ralph Munger's team.
Yeah, and I was going to say about these 4 teams, these are 4 very experienced and veteran teams, especially being at this level. Now we can include Cass Tech, the defending champ, within that. And that's the other Division I matchup, Cass Tech 10-2 playing Lake Orion 11-1. And this is, you're getting another collision course almost where you get a CC Cass matchup again, a rematch of last year's final if those 2 teams went out here.
That's what I'm predicting. Of course, I've been wrong in the past, but Cass Tech played Lake Orion in the same semifinal round 2 years ago, had the ball inside the 5-yard line, fumbled the ball, lost 24-21. I'm certain that still sticks with those players and the coaching staff, regardless of winning the state title last year. That's still one they thought they let get away.
Yeah.
I like Cass Tech in this one. It's at a neutral site. You have to check out Lake Orion. Their first 3 playoff games have all been at home. That's quite an advantage. No advantage here. I like Cass Tech and their speed and their strong defensive line.
Yeah, I like Rockford in this first game, though. I think that they'll be able to come across the state. And it's very rare that you don't see some West Side team that's going to end up in that final. Last year might have been one of those anomaly years. I think Rockford's able to win that game. I'm going to go with Cass Tech as well. And it's going to be interesting to see that East versus West with Cass and Rockford, kind of a strength versus speed deal too. So maybe we'll end up with that. Maybe we'll end up with another CC Cass.
Regardless, any matchup you get out of these Final 4 will make a terrific final game.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Division 2. Birmingham Brother Rice playing Wyandotte Roosevelt. Roosevelt may be the surprise team with that win over Oak Park last week.
Well, how about their defense? Just playing phenomenal, 20 points in 3 playoff games. Had a chance to see Brother Rice last week, and they seem to get their offense more in gear. Maybe it was just the team they were playing, but there was a 5.5-minute stretch that they were just boom, 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 yeah. Big play after big play after big play. And that's one thing Wyandotte Roosevelt has to be aware of and try to limit those big plays. And I was talking to Ron Adams for Wyandotte, and I said, Rice didn't have one of those long, drawn-out drives that they normally are with a running back like Brian Walker. That being said, if they can limit it, they can the big plays. I think Wyandotte can stay in this game. That being said, I like Rice in the final again.
Yeah, I think a couple of weeks we were talking about downriver teams not really making it this far without beating another downriver team. I think this is where that experience at Brother Rice and that tradition starts to come into play, and where Roosevelt doesn't have that same thing to lean on. I think this might be the tipping point for them, where Brother Rice just kind of steams away with this one. I'm going to call this one almost a best bet and say that Brother Rice just runs away with this game.
That's a big mountain to climb for Wyandotte in this
Absolutely. Game. Move on to Division 3, Battle Creek, Harper Creek, another school that's used to making it this far in the state finals. Both of these teams 10-2, but Orchard Lake St. Mary's, the defending champ, is the opposition in this one. St. Mary's with a big win last week over East English Village. They're just rolling. It looks like they're the juggernaut in this as well.
They scored, I believe it was their first 7 possessions against East English, and their running game just pounded it out, 6 yards, 7 yards, 4 yards at a crack, and there was hardly any mistakes by St. Mary's in that game. Defending champs, I like them in this game. They had to get by Harper Creek last year in the semifinals. I think they do it again.
Yeah, I think they're just going to roll through this game. It may be a little bit of a closer game. It's not a best bet, but I think that experience and what they have coming back is going to be the difference in this game as well. Move to Division 4, Saginaw Swan Valley, 10-2 playing Detroit Country Day, and Country Day just seems like they've been under the radar for quite a bit of this year. It's not a school that we've talked about very much, but at 10-2, they're right back here in the semifinals.
I think during the regular season, when they had that loss to UAD Jesuit, personally, I didn't think Country Day was going to be that good. UAD was down this year, but That being said, Country Day has played very well. I caught them against Pontiac Notre Dame Prep in the second round. They did not play a good game in that one. They kind of escaped. Coach Dan McLean is telling me sometimes when you make those long runs, you have to get by one of those close games where you don't play your best. And last week they played very well. I think Country Day comes on and wins this one. Swan Valley upset in my mind Croswell-Lexington, who I thought might give Country Day a game. But Country Day is their top three players, running back, quarterback, and receiver, are all juniors. So we might see them in this same round next year.
That might be a return trip next year. Last game that we're going to talk about, Detroit Loyola, a team that's really been knocking on the door for several years now. The only one of these teams in any of these divisions that we're talking about that's unbeaten. They're coming in at 12-0, and they're going to play against Flint Beecher, which got in at 5-4, and now they're 8-4. Is this really a mismatch on paper like it looks?
I'm not sure. Talking to Courtney Hawkins, the coach at Beecher, he has got 25 kids on varsity, similar amount to what Loyola has. And he says they're kind of playing that Iron Man football, and they toughed it out last week in what I consider a big upset over Saginaw and Nouvelle. A lot of people were expecting Nouvelle to play Loyola, two Catholic League teams playing Catholic school teams in this semifinal. Give credit to Beecher. They've got a nice receiver. Maybe they can put it up top a little bit over Loyola. Probably doesn't see a lot of passing in their league. That being said, Loyola is similar to Country Day, too. They only have 4 seniors on this team. So what you're seeing now for Loyola is going to be like a build-up for next year, which I think they'll be even better. That being said, I think Loyola takes this game and has a good shot at winning the state title.
Yeah, this might be one of the more athletic matchups that you're going to see with athletes on both sides of the ball. There might not be as many kids. You might get 25, 30 kids on each team, but I think they're going to fly up and down the field. Might be a high-scoring game, but I like Loyola as well, that they've, in previous years, built up to this point where they'll be able to capitalize and get to the finals in this, and they'll have a really excited fan base going down the Ford Field if they're able to win this game. Keep track of all of the results and the pairings for the finals next week at Ford Field at detnews.com. See all of Tom's writing and see all of our predictions this week as well. For Tom Markowski, I'm Rod Beard. We'll see you next week.